Hey guys, in this week's Crystal Bytes, we are going to talk about how to choose your crystals. Everybody asks me, how do you know which crystals to choose? How do you know which ones to work with? And I have developed over the years certain methods that work for me. So I'm going to share that with you. First, one of the methods that rarely ever happens, but I want to talk about it anyways, is that people will dream of a crystal, or they will just know that they have to get a crystal. And so they start the hunt, and they're looking for a particular crystal, and they just don't know what it is. From one of my wands, my Zestulite wand, I ended up dreaming that I dreamt that a man told me that my Zestulite wand was in town, and I just had to go get it at this shop. And so I woke up in the morning and I was just like, well, I guess I'm going to town today and I'm going to go get this wand. And this store in particular had always had rough azestulite pieces. And I walked into the store, went straight into the azestulite section, and there was one single wand. And it's the only piece of azestulite I've ever seen in that store that has not been raw, which was pretty amazing. And just the other day, there was a woman who came into the crystal store I work at, and she was like, I know I have to be here for a crystal. I don't know what crystal it is. And so she kept trying all these quartz crystals. And I was just like, every time I saw her, I just saw her walking away with this Lemurian seed crystal. And I was just like, and she went to go leave, and I just couldn't let her leave. I was like, have you looked at the Lemurian seed crystals? You have to look at the Lemurian seed crystals, because I keep seeing you with it. And so she ended up finding the right one. And as soon as she found the right one, there was a total, it was like a merging of energies that happened that I could feel. And she felt it too. And we were just kind of like, whoa, definitely the right one for you. So sometimes crystals, when you pick them up, they're just like, bing, and you're like, whoa, okay, this is my crystal, got it. And other times the crystals are very, very subtle, and it's tougher to tell. So there's a couple of things that I want to outline here. Lots of people will go and type in crystal for whatever, and that's great. That's an awesome way to get information and to start getting informed and start getting familiar with the crystals. However, don't get stuck on the particular kind of crystal that you want, because often what happens, and I see this all the time whenever I go crystal shopping or whenever people come into the store, they get stuck on this one type of crystal. It has to be this one crystal. That's the only variety that they can take home with them that day, because that's the only crystal that they believe will help them. And the thing is that crystals are a little mysterious. They kind of don't work that way. There are often people that come to the store that get stuck on something, and they don't realize, because they're so stuck in their head, that there's these other crystals that are calling them that are actually more beneficial, because they're going to deal with the root cause of whatever it is that you're looking for. That's something to remember with crystals, is that they're always working with the root cause inside our energy systems. They don't care about the symptoms, because the symptoms aren't nearly as important to resolve as those root causes are. So sometimes we think that we need to use a certain stone to heal a broken bone, but we don't realize that that broken bone is actually caused by the anger that we have for our father. And so then what the crystals that are going to be drawn to us are crystals that deal with anger, childhood issues, insecurity, and masculine energy. And so when we leave ourselves open, we have a general idea of what we want to do, and we leave ourselves open to let the crystals speak to us, to let them tell us which ones want to work with us to resolve these issues. That's when we get the most potent crystals that we need. So now here comes a little download on choosing crystals. There are several different ways. I started by having a row of crystals. I don't have a way of showing this to you, but I would have a row of crystals, and I would take my hand and I would just hold my hand flat like so, and slowly run my hand over top of the crystals. The ones that called to me, generally, I could feel a vibration or heat or coldness sometimes, but there would be a significant change inside the air between my hand and the crystal, and that would tip me that that variety of crystal needs to be looked at. Sometimes I would find several within one variety that I could work with that were resonant with my field. Other times it would just be the one crystal, and so that's how I would know. The other way that you can find out if a crystal is yours or if it wants to work with you is hold the crystal that calls to you. And how do you tell that the crystal is calling you? You just pay attention. You just allow yourself to relax. When next time you go crystal shopping, if this is a problem for you, go to the crystal store and relax. Take a few minutes to just take a few big deep breaths and then go wherever you feel a little pull. Just go to that section of the crystal store. Then use your hand and feel the crystals. And just don't touch them, just feel them. Just see what calls you. When you find one that calls you, you can pick it up and you can just start to meditate with it right there in the store. And I don't mean that you have to go all crazy here, because meditation can be done in many different formats. This meditation is just simply feeling the crystal. That is a meditation. In order to feel the crystal, you have to be in a meditative state of mind, or else you're too busy. So you just start to relax. You take a few more deep breaths as you feel this crystal, and you can just ask it, do you want to come home with me? Do you want to work with me? Whatever variation of that question. And it will tell you. You'll get a feeling, yes or no, or you'll see yes or no, or something. You'll just know. And that's the thing with crystals, is that we have to, when we're choosing them, we have to open ourselves to their world. Because oftentimes crystals are choosing you. You're not choosing it, as much as you like to think you are sometimes. I've had crystals literally jump out of baskets in front of me, being like, hey, here I am! Or falling off shelves, being like, hey, hey, you didn't pay attention to me, And it's all, there, there's a contract between us and certain crystals sometimes that just need to be filled, and they will come to us. And you know what? I've had times where myself or a client, we've been really attracted to a really ugly crystal. Like, really ugly. Like, we don't even want that crystal at all. And those crystals have often proven to be the most powerful crystals for us, because we learned that through direct experience that you can't judge a book by its cover. And often those crystals are so perfect for us, we're just like, wow, you know? So that's how you choose one metaphysically. And if you are choosing one just because you want something pretty, well then you just go to whatever crystal you love. And understand that you go through phases. Everybody goes through phases with choosing their crystals. I have gone through so many phases. I've gone through quartz crystal snobbery. I have done so many weird phases. But you always will have certain ones that will stay around with you for a long time, and I call those power crystals. So maybe next week I'll talk about crystal snobbery and power crystals. We'll see. Anyways, hope this helps you choose your crystals. Have a good week. Bye.